Welcome to this video. We'll cover how to deal with variables and input boxes in the VBS language. First thing, what is an input box? Well, in our past video we covered what a message box is, and so today message box is a lot like input box. And to start one, I'll say input box, and then open parenthesis and quote, and then whatever I want to have inputted, like what is your name? I'll save that, and then when I run the program, I have a box that says, what is your name? This is very useful because I can set this to a variable. For instance, I can say name equals, and now if I run this, what is your name? What good is that? Then I can say message box your, I'll do capital, and then we deal with something called the strings, which I'll get into. I'll show you what I did right there, right when I'll just show you that it runs, and I'll show you how I did it. What is your name? I'll say my name is Jimmy. And then a box comes up, your name is Jimmy. So, what I have inside the quotes is called a string. And when I display a string is always in quotes, and it's the value of just the letters. But I have a variable that's name, and this is equal to whatever the user puts in the input box. And I have name, but it really stands for the value of whatever they put in the input box. And so to display that in my message box, I end the string, and then I want to add on to that string whatever the person put in the message box. And so to do that, I put an and sign, which means I want to add on to the string that I just have. And then I type the variable that I have here. And because this is not in quotes, it will be the value of whatever it is equal to. In this case, what is put in the input box. If I put quotes around my variable, then I'm going to take two strings and put them together with the and sign. And it will be whatever is in between the quotes. So for instance, I can say my name is Jimmy, but since I have to save this first. So for instance, I can say my name is Jimmy, but since I have quotes around name, it has name, and it puts the two strings together. This is called string concatenation. So if I get rid of these quotes and I rerun the program, it again will just use my name. This is a handy way to put strings together, and you'll find you'll use that a lot in the VBS script. I'll do a bunch of videos on how to go deeper into strings and how to use them for your advantage. If you're really good at strings, you can be very good at using a VBScript to navigate through your filing system and a whole bunch of other things. So this is variables and how to deal with variables. Beyond that, we can make option explicit, and this is a handy one. So if I want to make a variable supra equals 0, and then I want a message box of supra, notice I do not use quotes because the quotes would make the message box say supra. Without the quotes it says the value of supra. I can do that. Let me save that. And so we get a message box that comes up with 0 because supra equals 0. But here's the thing. What if I misspell supra? S-U-R-P-A. Now it message boxes nothing. It doesn't tell me that I've spelled supra wrong, and that can be very aggravating. It just gives me nothing. So the VBScript looks at SERPA and says, I don't recognize SERPA, So it must be a new variable, and it makes it into a new variable right then and there. Really, I wanted supra, and that can be very hard to debug. So what I can say is option explicit. And I can put that at the beginning of every VBScript I make if I like option explicit. And what it will do is it will say, ah, I see option explicit, so you have to tell me what every variable is. And I'm not going to create any new variables unless you list it as a variable. So to list it as a variable, I write dim, and then I write supra. And now I said, okay, program, supra is a variable. And then I can say, oh, and supra equals 0. So when I get to message box surpa, it's going to say, wait, you said option explicit, and this isn't listed as a variable, so there's an error. So if I double click this, you can hear that error sound, and it says on line 4, character 1, there's a problem. And it says, oh, line 4, you have not defined surpa. But if I change it to supra and run it, I get 0. And then if I want to change the value of supra, I can say supra equals supra, there you go again, supra plus 1. And so now I say, oh, well, I want you to display supra, and then I want you to add 1 and display again. And it does it. So you can do basic math with these variables, just like any other program language would. You can get the user to do an input box. So I can say supra equals box. And we can tell the user to enter a number, and then I'll say supra plus 10. Supra equals supra plus 10. You don't have to add spaces. Sometimes it's nice to make it readable. And then you can say your number plus 10 is, and supra. It's helpful to add a space before you end the quote, and that way it will make it more readable. I'll give you an example here. So it wants me to enter a number, and I'm going to enter 10. Let's say your number plus 10 is 20. If I did not have this space, then enter a number, I'm going to enter 10. And my number plus 10 is 20, and it is 20. There's no space. So that helps to put a space in there as well. And just to add on to what I was saying before, you can concatenate in unlimited amounts. If I wanted to say something after supra, I can put in another and sign saying I'm going to add on another string, and then in quotes. If I save that and run it, it wants me to enter a number. I'll add in 10. Your number plus 10 is 20, and as before, I should add a space after the quote. Aren't I good at math? And so you can make it appear all as one, just so that it looks proper. And I can even add a period here if I wanted to make it a separate sentence. Your strings can look a little bit strange like this, but it makes perfect sense when you see it concatenated. Is 20, period. Aren't I good at math? So you can do all sorts of things by adding in as many strings as you want and putting them all in one. This is a basic overview of what option explicit is, variables, input boxes. I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, please subscribe. That's the best way to help me back, and I will catch you next time.